What's going on? This is your guy, Betya. Welcome to Under the Hood episode 2. Thanks for joining us today here at the MMA Engine. Last week, we did an episode showing off the Fight Studio, one of the many cool tools we're going to be providing for content creators. This week's a little different. It's not going to be a product demo, although next week I am going to do a full demo of what the users can expect signing up. I got a few messages this week about not just what the company is, but how it came together. And I thought that to get to what the company's vision is, it's important to start from the beginning. So if you could indulge me for a few minutes, I'd appreciate it. Thanks for joining. If you haven't already, please hit the like button, like and subscribe. Goes a long way for us as we're just getting this channel off the ground. And I guess let's begin. So if you haven't already, I would recommend going to Wheezy's channel. He did Storytime with Uncle Wheezy last week, which you don't even have to be a fan of MMA to enjoy it. If you're a fan of good people and just a wonderful story, I highly recommend it. And it sort of inspired me today a little bit. But so how this company came to be, I got to start in September. And it starts a little sad. I hate to say it that way, but my girlfriend and I had a cat, Lulu, for 11 years. And she was sick, and my girlfriend went away for a week. And the day after she left, my cat passed away. And I happened to see it as it happened. So it still hurts this day. Anybody who's lost a pet can fully understand that. But those were a very dark week or two in my life. And I had been watching a lot of MMA videos that the guys in the community create. And I didn't really know Wheezy. I knew him a little bit. But I had messaged him the next day and just said, hey, man, for what it's worth, could you just throw up like prayers for Lulu or whatever on your show? I think he was doing a full card breakdown. And he went above and beyond. He took time out of his life and out of his show because he's a pet owner. And he understands, and he went above and beyond. And he didn't realize at the time, I'm sure, but that went a long way toward making me feel better about what was going on in my life. So he knew I did IT. Oh, and before I even get into that, there was one other person in that time period that I didn't really know well, but special thanks to Dan Levy. He is a hell of a guy, and he didn't know me either, and he really helped, and maybe one day I'll get to repay that kindness. But fast forward to December, and Wheezy knew I was in IT and said, hey, man, I do these spreadsheets on the show, and he does one for Brady as well. And he wanted to move that into a data-driven spreadsheet, which is what you see now on his show. A lot of it is driven from our database we built. So we worked on the project when UFC took a 3-week break at the end of the year. And once it was done, Brady was involved because he was getting one of those spreadsheets as well. And we started talking and said, hey, maybe we're onto something here. Maybe this can spin into something else. And so the vision of the company began. And at first it started as, let's provide users as much data as we can and as many cool tools as we can at the lowest price in the market. Because to us, some of these sites, maybe they price gouge a little bit. I understand that it's business, but we think we can do better. And as the project went on, Monk was doing a show with Brady and Wheezy. They still do every Wednesday night on Pub Sports Radio. Highest recommendation, check that out. And I just started bothering Monk one day, as I'm prone to do. And he's a math genius, and I'm somebody who knows math to an extent. And it turned out we had a lot in common, and we hit it off well. And as our offering is completely data dependent, having two brilliant data minds in Wheezy and Monk was a top priority. So Monk was invited to join the product, and that is the formation of the company. And since then, we've evolved into not just building user tools, but building content creator tools. So the reason I bring all this up is one of the most important things about our company is that from a morality standpoint, we're good people. We all have good stories behind us. Those are theirs to tell. I've told you some of mine. But our mission going forward is to keep that mentality, to be morally good, not just by each other, but for the community. And that is why we want to build tools that all facets of MMA Twitter will use. And it's important to us. It's important to our customers that they're always well respected, not just by the rest of the customer base, but by us and by the content creators. It's paramount to our success to stay as a good-hearted and noble company. And I know that sounds like a lot of corporate talk, and it couldn't be further from the truth. We're a family at this point already, and I would do anything for those guys. I think they would do anything for me, whether because they want to or because I threaten them. Either way, they would do anything for me, and because of this, we're going to be able to grow at a really accelerated rate. So that being said, that is who we are at our core as a company. Now, our mission going forward is a couple of things. We're going to evolve as the community tells us to. So in terms of content creation, which again, if you haven't seen last week's video, Under the Hood, episode 1, going over the Fight Studio, as content creators use this product, they're going to give us feedback saying, Lou, this would be better here, or could you add this kind of functionality? One thing that came up this week was a collaborative note-taking way to do the studio. And these are all things that we're going to do as people use the product more and more. I'm open-minded. We're building, this is just the first version, and it will continue to grow in terms of whatever you guys want. And as far as the content creator goes, it's never going to cost you a penny. As far as the users go, we're providing a lot of data, fight details, fighter details. We're going to have a portal to all the relevant content that our customers that are content creators are doing in a week. So say you go to our site on a Wednesday and, the Chronic Combat show they have a show on Wednesday night, and Pub Sports has Brady, Wheezy, Monk, and Luke doing their DFS show, and Dogger Pass is Wednesday night. You'll have all your access to all the shows on one site of people that have partnered with us so that you can get all the information you need on one portal. And not just videos, but articles based by any content creator that wants to write one, and our staff with, DFS projections, best bets, predictions, goofy stuff. I mean, it will evolve. We're not bound to just do DFS articles and betting articles. We can do whatever's relevant in the community. So on top of that, if you don't want to pay and you want to just look around the site, that's fine. You'll still have access to a lot of data. You'll have access to all these content pieces. But if you do want to be a member and join us, you're going to get access to a few new tools that we've built. One of them is an optimizer. If you've ever used an optimizer for any other sport on DFS and you're going to play a contest with a lot of lineups, it's a must-have. It's almost impossible to win a multi-entry contest without one. And we have, ours is a little unique. Ours is a little different than some of the ones you've seen out there. And it's really well engineered, if I must say. I didn't engineer it. But I wouldn't have put it in the site if I didn't stand by it. We have a very advanced note-taking system as well. So one of the things that's different about MMA, what's very unique about this sport, is there's fights every week, but your favorite fighter or guys that you like to bet, like to fade, enjoy, that you saw in Dana White's Contender Series, they may not fight for 6 months. They may not fight for a year. Not everybody does what Moicano did and fights back-to-back weeks. So remembering what your reads were from each fight, from those little things that you picked up along the way, you may not remember 6 months from now. So one thing we are doing is a complete journal for each fight and for each fighter. And it's not just your freehand notes. You can pick and choose from any of our stats, and it will build you a relevant stat list. Like I said, unlike the NFL where, I can just say, why am I betting on the Steelers? I never win when I take this team. This is a little different in that these notes will be yours forever, and you can always build on them. And when you look at a matchup, you can see both fighters' notes. And maybe you'll pick up something that you hadn't before. Maybe your initial read on the fight is tempered because you're like, well, I didn't realize he'd gone for that many takedowns last fight. That's interesting. That plays into the odds a little bit. It's really up to you. But we think the note-taking is a big, big piece of this. And that leads into the Dynamic Research Center, which I'm still coming up with a better name than that. It will not be, Yambag Yahtzee, but it'll be something. And what the User Research Center, the Dynamic Research Center is a way to take all aspects of everything I've talked about and centralize them. So, and this will be demoed. I'll give you guys a rough demo and prototype next week, but the basic idea behind it is you go to a fight card and let's say you pick the first fight of the night. Well, here's fighter A, here's fighter B. Here's all their stats line by line. Here's their live odds. Here's some bets that we've determined statistically make sense. So, for instance, if it's a heavyweight fight, perhaps you'll see a round one knockout prop. If you have people that are notorious gassers, maybe we'll put the round 3 finish prop up there. As our system evolves and gets smarter and smarter, we'll be able to determine what we think are the best value plays. Wheezy himself is working on a prop template that gauges odds of over-unders and fight doesn't goes based on a variety of facts: the fighter's personal stats, the weight class, gender, a ton of, southpaws versus orthodox, tons of factors have gone into what he's doing right now that'll be available in the center as well. On top of having all the stats and betting odds at your disposal, there's going to be 2 other things. One is all the notes that you've taken will be there. And on top of that, we're going to have a news section. So if we found something on Tuesday, if one of the people on our staff stalks somebody's Instagram and sees a news thing, it won't be me. I'm in my 40s. I don't know how Instagram works, but we do have some youth on the team. If one of them finds a nice little tidbit, picture from the gym, somebody they're working with, maybe somebody made a guest stop in the gym, different factors that aren't measured by the stats, we're going to throw these relevant news items in there as well so that you have them in one click and you don't have to go hunting for them. The other big piece of that is that we're going to have content creators that be partners with us, but not everybody will, and I understand that. But if you go to somebody's video and that's just somebody that every week to week you like their picks, we have an entry piece for that where you can just type in, this is what Paul Shaughnessy said. He said, I like this guy to win by knockout. And then Cody said, well, I'm not sure who's going to win, but I like the under. That's my play. And you'll be able to enter in all of these data points per fight so that at the end of the week or whenever you decide you're ready to formalize your bets and your DFS for that matter, you can look at what everybody that you like has stated about that fight and say, all right, my lean's this, but it looks like 7 people are on this side and maybe one's on the time prop. This is going to be my angle. And you'll always have the live odds in front of you. So you'll know what it opened at, what line movements happen. All of this is going to be centralized on one page per fight. And on top of that, there will be an overview page that sums up all the picks that you've made. As far as the DFS angle goes with that, I think I can pull this off. I will investigate more, but there will be a way that once you've constructed who is in your player pool on DFS on your large research sheet, that you can click a button and it will take that right into the optimizer and make as many lineups as you want based on that player pool. Now, within our optimizer, you can customize it and limit exposure, put rules in about not having stacks. All those rules are in the optimizer themselves. But once you see your player pool come to life, I think that's a great visual aid in terms of not just attacking it from a betting standpoint, but from a DFS standpoint. I'm sure most of you watching have come one leg away from hitting a 10-team parlay. Or in my case, I came one fight away from taking down the 100K with one lineup, which was flukish, but thanks, Billy Q. And we hope that with our product, we can get you that last leg and we can get you that last fighter that gets you optimal. We would love to see somebody that's a customer of ours week after week just smash the 100K. And I'm confident that our tools will get us there. So enough prattlings from this old man. If there are any questions, which by the looks of it, there are not right now. But since there are not, I'd like to thank you guys for all coming out and listening. Whenever you get a chance to listen to it, I really appreciate it. And I'm Lou Betya at Twitter. If you're not following me, I'd appreciate it if you did. If you have any questions you don't want to ask publicly on the MMA Engine's Twitter channel, which by the way, MMA_engine, Twitter. Please follow us for updates. If you have any questions about the product, about pricing, about what's going to be built in 3 months, 6 months, if you're just trying to start out your career as a content creator, if you have any questions about this space that we can help with, my door's open. Just hit me up, hit up the channel, and we'll get back to you. So thanks for listening to episode 2 of Under the Hood. Next week, as I stated, will be a more technical episode focusing on user stuff. And I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you.